doctor's list. Mine certainly didn't. She leaned forward slightly, pleased when his eyes found her cleavage. Some police departments are extremely wary when a civilian wants to look at a cold case, especially when that civilian is a journalist. She tucked her blonde hair behind her ears and met his eyes. I found it best to get permission first. She smiled again. That's why I'm here.
You're doing another book on cold cases?
Eventually, yes. Only 5 cases made it into the first book. 5 of probably 20 I researched.
What brings you down to Brownsville? You're from Atlanta, correct?
I've been in Atlanta since college, but my research takes me all over. She handed him a piece of paper. The case I'm interested in is a decade old, Carlos Romero. I was contacted by his sister. She read in my book where another 10-year-old case was reopened, with success. She thought I might want to include her brother's story in my next book. James Garza folded his hands together and watched her.
I don't have a problem with granting access to old case files, Miss Edwards, Marty, he said, especially one that is 10 years old. I actually came here from Phoenix a couple of years ago, and it was quite common for cold cases to be revisited there. Although here in Brownsville, as small as we are, I can't imagine there being many unsolved murders.
Phoenix, what a coincidence. I'm heading there next, she lied. Perhaps you have a contact I could get in touch with?
Of course.
He reached for his business card and flipped it over, jotting down the information for her.
Ray Conaway is who you need to see,
he said as he handed her the card.
He'll take care of you.
Mr. Garza, I appreciate that. I hope you don't mind if I tell him you sent me.
Please, by all means. And call me James.
Excellent, she said, feeling that her face would break from the constant smiling she was doing. Now I've taken up enough of your time. What can I give to the police department to access the file?
In Phoenix, we had an actual authorization form.
He reached for the phone, asking his secretary to join them.
My guess is we have no such thing here. I'll have Lucilla draft one up for you.
She stood and again reached her hand out. You've been very accommodating, James. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure to meet you, Marty. He paused. If you're going to be in town long, perhaps you'll allow me to take you to dinner one night.
Absolutely. As always, she hated this part of the game. But again, she smiled brightly, as if she couldn't wait for them to meet up for dinner. If you'll allow me to get settled, she said, glancing at his card, I'll call you later in the week.
I look forward to it.
10 minutes later, with her authorization letter tucked into her laptop bag, she walked down the steps of City Hall, the bright sunshine warm on this April day. Her normal routine was to head over to the police station immediately, and she didn't plan to veer from that today, despite the enticing smells coming from the many local restaurants lining Market Square. She took a deep breath, inhaling the aroma of fresh Mexican food. Knowing she didn't have the luxury of lunch, she was anxious to get started. Chapter 3.
A 10-year-old cold case?
He shook his head.
Waste of time, ma'am.
Marty followed the uniformed police officer down the corridor to the old file room. He flipped on the light, the dusty fluorescent bulbs casting a yellowish glow over the rows and rows of neatly stacked boxes, all containing the physical evidence of thousands of cases. Well, I have a lot of time to waste, she said, glancing at the boxes as they walked past. How many years do you keep in here?
A lot,
he said absently as he slowed, his hands pointing at each box as if counting.
Here we are. Let's see. Case file number 389044. Carlos Romero.
He looked up quickly.
That's one of Lieutenant Marsh's cases. Have you cleared this with him?
She shook her head and held up the letter from James Garza. The city attorney, Mr. Garza, has given me permission. Remember?
Yeah, I know that. But I think we should still run it by the lieutenant.
Fine, she said curtly, watching as he moved away and pulled out his cell phone. She thought it odd that he wasn't using the radio clipped to his belt, but she'd found that all police departments did things differently. She shifted slightly, feigning interest in other file boxes, trying unsuccessfully to listen to his muted conversation.
He wants to see you first.
Marty let out a heavy sigh. And he'll be right over?
No, ma'am. You're to report to him.
Look, officer, is this really necessary? It's a 10-year-old case, she said, pointing to it. Look at the evidence marker. It hasn't been opened since, she looked closer, 2 months after his murder. What's the big deal?
Not my call, ma'am. Head upstairs, third floor.